P-A-S-C-A-L. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in great spirits because another day above the dirt. It is always a blessing. Let's not forget that, guys. Always a blessing. What is popping? What is good, everybody? We got a show. We got some things to talk about, and there has been some weird stuff been going on within this mother-loving case, and we have got to talk about it. Like I've said before, there's a lot of things that we're going to be talking about. Actually, and I take that back. There's a lot of things that we're going to be talking about specifically on this case. So we're not going to be doing multiple realms of anything. All right, we're not going to be doing any. We're not going to be going into multiple realms or anything like that. We're going to be focusing on just this case and this case alone, unless something breaks while we're live, okay? Still have plans on coming on to the show a little bit later on this evening to wrap with you guys about another case that we've been keeping an eye on. There's been some updates about that, which we really need to talk about. I have not talked about this other case in a while. So we have got to talk about that because there's been some new developments in that, and it's been absolutely insane. So before we get into everything, please do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. Crush it, do what it do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, I'm on all of them mugs. So make sure you're hitting that follow button over there. Follow. I don't know how many times, man. How many times do I need to tell y'all to follow my other platforms, especially that FB, that Facebook? You know what I'm saying? Okay, and maybe that TikTok if you're savvy. You know what I'm saying? If you got it. You know, some people are like, I hate TikTok. I don't do it. Okay, that's fine. But I still got the FB. I got that Facebook, baby. So if you got that, you go follow that mother lover. That's it. Just follow. Hit the follow button. Damn. Because there's so much stuff I'm giving you guys. I'm giving you so much information on that Facebook page, especially on all the cases and all these conversations that we keep having on this show. And some of them, we ain't even had conversations about it on the show, but I'm still covering it over there on the FB. So, damn it. To follow. Anyway, make sure you hit that subscribe button here on my YouTube channel. Please and thank you. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Please and thank you. Subscribe. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Subscribe over there because there's a lot of content coming out over there from clips from this show being put over there. So make sure you're subscribed over there as well. All right? Hit that notification bell on both platforms or on both channels on YouTube so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because honestly, it is random, okay? Hit that join button down below, become a member, support the channel. You know, your boy's working hard. You know, I'm not trying to guilt anybody into this, but this man works so hard, okay? I work hard. No, I'm just kidding. But please, if you can, you know, go and become a member. Support the channel, damn it. That's the other thing, okay? No pressure if you can't. It's okay. Your presence here is always a blessing. Let's not forget that. But hit that join button if you want to support. Check out that Patreon, which is right there in the bottom ticker of the screen right there. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. Check it out, PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. Go and check it out, PascalMerch.com. Okay, guys, we have got to get into some conversations. Okay, now here's the thing. I just a quick recap on what we talked about yesterday. All right, for those of y'all who don't know what the heck is going on, some of you are like, oh, I don't even know. Who's this Nolan Wells individual? I don't know nothing about no Nolan Wells. Well, I don't know what to tell you. All I can say is go back to my other videos and just check those things out. Catch up and then go check out the show. All right, That's all I can say. Oh, Serene, you're saying that you got no notification that they trying to hide you? The fuck? Let me just say this, okay? Let me just say this. All I could say is turn off the notification bell and then turn it back on. Set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because honestly, I don't know what's going on. You know, the tubes be tripping lately, okay? But that's all I could say. All I could say is go turn off the notification bell, turn it back on, and you should be right as rain, but I don't know. That's what I usually do with other channels that I follow. Not all of them, but, you know, the ones that, you know, are consistent with updates and all that stuff. I check those things out. I do have notification bells for other accounts, and sometimes I don't get them either. So I have to, like, turn off the notification bell and turn it back on. So just try it, okay? Check it out. Try it out and let me know if it works for you. All right, now, here's the thing. Yeah, it's kind of like unplug it, wait. Yeah, man. Yeah, Gabe. You know what I mean? It's like unplug it, wait exactly 10 seconds, and then plug it back in. And it should work. You know? It's like old school Nintendo cartridges. You know how everybody's like blowing into it thinking that would actually work? It just has a lot of dust. And then they stick it back in there and they do the jiggle. They jiggle side to side and up and down. And then suddenly it works, but it's still kind of glitchy and everything. You know how it is, right? So just try that. Not the cartridge thing. There's no cartridges to blow on, okay? No pun intended. But still, turn off the notification bell, turn it back on, and you should be eyed, okay? But here's the thing. We have got to get this discussion going, okay? Because I don't have a whole lot of time, unfortunately, but I will be back on to talk with you guys this evening. And if there's any updates about this particular case with Nolan Wells, I'll be sprinkling it into the show that we're going to be talking about this evening. Now, or the topics that we're going to be speaking about this evening. So here's the thing. Real quick recap. For those of y'all who are just late to the party, there was a photo that went viral just over the last 48 hours. Everybody and their mama's been losing their doggone minds, okay, about this photo. A photo showing Nolan Wells at a pool party. And the reason why everybody's been losing their minds over this is that they're saying that, or they were saying, that this photo was taken that very night that he allegedly was reported missing. So July 4th, when he was reported missing around 3 p.m., people were saying, no, that's not true because of this photo. That they went to the mainland, they went back to their county, you know, and there was a 4th of July party over at one of his friends' houses. They went, chilled out in the pool, and he happened to be captured in a photo at this very pool party. And they said that this photo was taken on July 5th, very early morning hours of July 5th. So basically, July 4th. They were out kicking it, and this was past midnight, around like 1 or so in the morning. Technically, if you're being technical about it, it would be July 5th. The problem is that this would go against the narrative that the friends were saying, which was they were saying that he went missing at 3 p.m. on July 4th. Now, obviously, everybody was in a tizzy. Everyone was in a tizzy. Even myself. I'm like, whoa, if this photo is real and if this is actually true, then that means this story that the friends told us is wrong and they're lying to us, right? Straight up lying to us, right? Now we're finding out something completely different. According to his friend, Trayston Shepard, who happens to be doing a lot of, well, he stopped doing interviews now, but he's been out here, okay, doing conversations and whatnot, clarifying a lot of things. And I know some people are side-eyeing the hell out of Trayston because they can't fathom the idea that there might have been, that this case could actually not be a case and that this was an accident. Okay? That maybe there was an accident, or maybe he did something nefarious to himself. But people are so mad. People are pissed that Trayston is out here trying to clarify the narrative, trying to clarify the speculations and debunking the speculations and the conspiracy theories that have been spiraling out of control with this case. But he is the person who said, I wasn't at this pool party, but I know for a fact that this pool party was on June 27th. And this photo was taken late that night on June 27th because everybody was hype about this pool party. They couldn't wait to go to this pool party. He couldn't go, but they said that this pool party did actually happen and that they were very hype about it. But this pool party happened on June 27th, not July 4th, late at night, or early morning, July 5th. So a lot of people are very upset about that information that Trayston's told everybody. Okay, that he went on to an interview and said, nope. According to Rolling Stone, he said, no, this is not from July 4th. This is from June 27th, several days before he was ever reported missing. Now, even so, they said friends were able to send proof, like metadata, to the Rolling Stone to confirm that these photos, and a bunch of other photos as well, to confirm that these photos were indeed taken on June 27th. Here's the thing, though. As we've understood over time, it is easy to mess with and doctor metadata. There is a way you can mess with that stuff. There is. Not sitting here saying that these kids know how to do that or knew that they can do that. All I'm saying is that there's a good, strong possibility that these kids are telling the truth, that this timeline is still the truth, and maybe maybe it was an accident. Maybe it was. But I understand. We got to leave that other part on the table. Kids could have the knowledge of knowing how to mess with the metadata to give off the vibe like these photos were taken on June 27th. But then again, maybe nothing happened here. Maybe not. But here's the thing. Attorney Benjamin Crump is on the case. He's doing everything he can to figure out what the F is going on and what is the truth here. Were these photos doctored? It's not AI slop. These are really, truly photos taken from a pool party with Nolan in that pool and at that event. Whether or not that metadata is right, or if that metadata was messed with, I guess that the jury's still out on that. Okay? So we will find out about that. Okay? So again, very, very interesting stuff here. Okay? And of course, we got a bit to hold on, guys. Of course, we got a bit to talk about. We got a bit to look into. And again, like I said, it's still strange, the timeline. Like, let's not get it twisted. The timeline is still very confusing and very strange. All right? And we're going to hear some from other people, okay? Like Javon's mother speaks out because apparently Javon's mom had to go out of her way. She's actually the one who had to go out of her way to actually pick up the phone from the kids. And apparently when she went over there, the kids were just all sitting there chilling. Like, I guess some of them were all hanging out with each other, according to Javon's mom. Okay. Apparently they were just like chilling, watching TV like it was nothing. Whereas like for me, I'm like, damn, like I'd be so concerned about the well-being of my kid, about the well-being of my friend, that I don't know if I'd be busy. I don't know if I'd be spending my time sitting there watching TV, but that's just me, right? But apparently she says, and we're going to look at that in a little bit later, she says that she had to go out of her way to get to go and actually get the phone from these kids. And then here's the other thing too. When she went to ask for the phone, it took him about 15 minutes to get the phone to her. What? Why would it take 15 minutes to get a phone into her hands when she's actually at the house where the phone is located at? Like I said, make that make sense. Make that make sense. That makes no sense at all whatsoever. You walk in, hey, we understand that you got Nolan's phone. Can we get it? Yeah, no worries. We got it. 15 minutes later, that's when they finally get their hands on the phone? Inside the house in which the phone is inside of? That makes no sense to me, guys. You're going to hear that. Okay, you're going to hear a clip of that from Javon's mom being interviewed on, if I'm correct, CNN. She's saying that. She's like, I don't understand why it took 15 minutes to get a phone when it shouldn't take 15 minutes to get a phone. Just doesn't make any sense. Okay? It really, really does not. Okay? Here's the other things, too. That's a very good point. Apparently, a dude shaved USA into his chest down here. He's like right here, like the dude in the middle, smack dab in the middle. He has USA shaved into his chest. Now, here's the thing. That does not automatically mean that this was shot on the 4th of July. Remember, we were just having the World Cup here, y'all. Did we not? What are the chances of this guy shaving, okay, USA into his chest for the World Cup? I'm just asking the questions, all right? I'm just asking the questions. So maybe he shaved USA into his chest. Literally, it says USA in his chest right there. Maybe he was doing that for soccer, for football. Maybe. Okay. Yeah, if that's a high school student, you are straight up lying. He teaches math. He teaches Algebra 101. Okay, let me just be real. That is a grown-ass man. All right, that man got kids. Okay, he about to be a grandpa. That man looked that old. Like puberty hit him hard and early, man. Damn. He is one. That is a high schooler. That is a grown-ass man there in the middle with the USA shaved in his chest. Damn. He manscaping. It's not peach fuzz anymore. He a grown-ass man. Damn. But anyway, that's interesting, but I just want to point out, because I know some people are like, well, he's got USA shaved in his chest. Well, hold up. That don't mean a damn thing. You have World Cup happening. People were cheering on USA, America. He may have done that for that. Or he was doing a little, practice run for 4th of July to see if it looks good. I don't know. But June 27th isn't far away from 4th of July. So maybe that's what was going on. I don't know. The truth hurts. You'd have to be a fool to shave USA in your chest. Then see, here's the thing. With all due respect, truth hurts. But I gotta say, then you don't understand fanaticism, especially when it comes to like football or American football. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're crazy. People paint themselves half blue and white or whatever. You know what I mean? Just to support their team. You feel me? Just saying. So, again, June 27th was allegedly when this photo was taken. Metadata was sent to Rolling Stone to confirm, and other photos from this event, from this party, to confirm. So they were able to cross-reference and go, okay, all these photos are the same. But here's the thing. You can mess with metadata. That is possible. So hopefully somebody's getting down to the bottom of it just to make sure that the metadata is authentic and has not been doctored. Just saying that out loud. Nothing's been manipulated, okay? Hopefully nothing has been manipulated, but if it is, we'll find out soon enough, right? Now, we have got to get into the conversation here, all right? Hopefully you guys are all well and having a great day, all right? And here's the thing. We don't know everything yet, all right? We don't know what's going on right now. We're still trying to figure out what the heck is going on, okay? But one thing is for sure. We do have a couple interviews or a couple statements from the sheriff of this town that is, obviously spearheading this actual case. So I want to pull those up for you guys. Hold on, that's not it. I want to pull up those for you guys so we can take a look at them and see what the F is going on. First and foremost, let's just get over to an article that that the sheriff did, okay? Jackson County Sheriff John Ledbetter, did a couple interviews. I'm actually surprised, but he did quite a bit of interviews, to be really honest. All right? So we're going to take a look at this here real quick. Let's take a look at this. Hold on. Bang a car. One second, y'all. Gotta love these ads and all this crap. I guess they gotta make their money somehow. All right.
A week since Nolan Wells' body was found on Horn Island. As the country sits and waits for the investigations to conclude, many questions are still left to be answered. Today I spoke with Jackson County Sheriff John Ledbetter on where the investigation stands. Speculation continues as to what happened to 18-year-old Nolan Wells over Independence Day weekend. Jackson County Sheriff John Ledbetter met with WLOX to give what updates he could. However, considering
this investigation is active, it's ongoing,
he wasn't able to confirm much. Ledbetter did confirm that interviews have been conducted with witnesses, and the department has been in contact with other departments and agencies, including the FBI.
Interesting. First and foremost, witnesses have been interviewed. That is something that I think is a good thing that we're getting out of this. Okay, let me just be real. Okay, that is a very, very good piece of information that they're actually getting down to brass tacks and they're actually interviewing witnesses that were in the area. Because you got to remember, what's weird about this is that you got a guy, this kid. It just doesn't make any sense that this kid would say, hey, I'm sticking around. I'm going to catch a ride with somebody else, with a bunch of other people. Did he ever say who he was going to catch a ride with? Did he say, yeah, I'm going to go, I'm going to go catch a ride with Javon, or I'm going to catch a ride with Sam and Ray and Tyrone? He didn't say any of those things. From what we've gathered, no one said anything. You'd think that mom and dad would get that piece of information at least. Because why would he sit there, say that he's going to hitch a ride with somebody, but then never get on that boat in the first doggone place? It just doesn't make sense. Like I said, the math is not mathing for me. Because if there was another group of people or another boat that he was supposed to get on, then where are those kids from that other boat? At least the driver of that boat, or at least the friend that was going to be on that other boat. Did he just say, I'll figure it out? I'll see y'all in a little bit. I'll figure it out. That doesn't make any sense either. The only ride he had was that boat. Unless, and only unless, people were so drunk, people were so lit, that they just thought in their minds that that's what Nolan said, when he never said that in the first place, but they weren't thinking. Maybe they were just so drunk that they were like, oh, yeah, oh, all right, man. You got another ride? Okay, cool. See you later. You see what I'm saying? Something about this just does not make sense to me, guys. It just doesn't. All right? Serene, you said that you tried to send some super chats, I guess? They're not showing up. I'm not saying, hey, try again, but if you want to try again, I have not seen any super chats here. Trust me, I have not. Okay? Now, I'm curious, Indiana cutie, where am I lying? Where am I lying? I'd like to know. Where am I lying? I'm only talking about the things that are going on and what people are talking about in the streets and all that. So where am I lying, girl? That's what I'd like to know. Where am I lying? Okay? But here's the thing. Here's the thing. If he said he was going to ride with somebody else, then where's that other person? If he said, don't worry, guys, I understand the bilge pump isn't working, the boat's starting to flood a little bit, my added weight is only going to make it worse, it's all good, I'll go and, I'll hitch a ride with X, Y, and Z, then why hasn't X, Y, and Z spoken out? Then here's the other thing, too. Now, I get it that we just talked about a whole bunch of other things earlier, yesterday, too, right? Here's the thing. There's people out here that will sit there and say, hey, yeah, like we just talked about yesterday, somebody could be drowning in a pool, crowded with people, all right? Crowded with people, a pool just lit with people, right? And you could have literally somebody right in the middle of the pool drowning and people won't notice. That is very possible. But if he's out here, if he's out there in the water, hanging out with somebody or hanging out with a couple other people, it just doesn't make any sense that he would just go and just disappear without them even going like, yo, where did he go? That doesn't make sense, guys. It just doesn't. Okay? It just doesn't. So to me, I think that there's alcohol involved, memory is foggy, and maybe they're just so drunk like, okay, man, oh, you're going to go and take another ride with somebody? Okay, cool, peace. And they just jumped on the boat and they just took off. But here's the other thing, too. If they were that zooted, if they were that lit, who was actually the captain of the boat? Who was actually driving the boat? Was it a parent? You know what I'm saying? Was it a parent? Who was that? Why haven't we heard anything from anyone yet? That seems weird. Don't you think? But let's continue.
The investigation has benefited from information brought by the community.
This recent week, we've got a lot of valuable information that has come from the public. We put out a call to action last week for that information, and it has been very productive for us.
Many are preparing for the return of Wells' autopsy. However, toxicology testing is conducted by outside laboratories, and the analysis and review process can take several weeks. A spokesperson for the Mississippi Department of Public Safety states every case is unique and deserves a thorough review. Therefore, cases cannot all be handled the same way or in the same timeline. While theories circle social media, those who are close to Nolan are still waiting for closure, as one friend spoke in an ABC interview.
I think everybody needs to let the investigation continue and let the facts be shown. And if the fact shows that somebody harmed Nolan, I hope that there is justice brought. And if it was a tragic accident and somebody didn't speak up, I still hope justice is brought. The fact is the only thing that's going to overturn that. So that's what I'm just waiting patiently to see before I think anything else. I just know I've lost my best friend.
Now, obviously, that's heartbreaking info.
Turn that. So that's what
I know that's very.
There is justice brought.
I know that is very heartbreaking information, or like heartbreaking revelation. Like he's like, it's my best friend. I just lost my best friend. I just want things to be figured out. I don't want all this BS rumors and stuff that are just a waste of time coming out and all that. You know what I mean? And I agree. I'd rather just know all the facts and be done with it, right? And thank you, local trees. I guess the super chats are working. Thank you. Test. It's working. Thank you, brother. Shout out to my boy, local trees. Thank you so much, bro. Appreciate you, man. But here's the thing. There's been a lot of speculation. There's been a lot of rumors. There's been a lot of wild conspiracy theories as well. There's been a lot of questions that keep on popping up. One of them I'd like to know is, let's talk about this. Let's talk about the beach. Down by the beach, boy. Let's talk about the beach. Let's talk about this island. Okay? Does it get submerged with water? How deep does it get? Right? How high does the water get? How far up the island does this water get on the island? Does it ever get completely submerged by the ocean? Those are some things I'd like to have answered. Now, here's the thing. That doesn't mean that suddenly out of nowhere there was just a rise in the tide and everyone had to skedaddle and they just left him behind. No, but it does make you wonder that if he was there and the water did rise and he was there by himself, how, you know what I mean? He may not have been able to tread water if it happened to be that deep. But then you also got to remember this too. It looked, at least you saw that video. Let me see if I can find that again. It's in here.
Public safety states and deserves
Where
a
is
review. Therefore, cases cannot all be handled the same way or in the same
right
timeline.
there. Blammo. Look at that. Now, you see somebody walking from the boat. Okay? You see this guy? I'm going to make it a little bit bigger for you guys. You see this guy, and it's, and I don't know how tall this guy is, but it's going up to his knees, the water. Depending, you know what I mean? He's walking with something over his head, trying to get to the shore, right? So it makes you wonder how, and we see in other videos, especially the one where where apparently now it's Tristan that's screaming in the background. We see that the water is fairly high. Like people are able to kind of, maybe it's up to their thighs, but they're able to kind of boom, sit in the water and just kind of float around a little bit, right? Maybe, right? So I don't know, but it is interesting that is going on. That you see the rise of tide and the varying levels of how deep this water can actually get. And we see in that video of people, of the event, people like kind of, chilling in the water, right? But is it enough for someone to just get sucked in? Now, they also said that the water is pretty murky and gets very dark, and maybe something could have happened to him, and then he succumbed to the water, and no one could actually see see under the water. They couldn't see through the water and actually see him. And of course, that's still a good possibility as well, but it just doesn't make any sense that if you're standing next to Nolan, you're chopping it up with him, being like, yo, you know what I mean? I'm going to go get another beer, or I'm going to go get another seltzer, or I'm going to go get another water, or, whatever, right? You want one? And he's like, yeah, man. Yeah, I'll take one. And then you go, let's just say, and you turn back around to go give it to him, and he gone, and you didn't sit there and go, wait, where did Nolan go? Where's Nolan at? That makes no sense. It makes no sense. Like I said, it's not like he wasn't around people. It's not like he wasn't around people at all. Even the people who don't know who he is, he's around those people too. So it makes no sense. Mary J., thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. You're doing a great job. I like you. Oh, well, thank you. You like me. You really, really like me. Stay cool. I always stay cool. Thank you so much, Mary. I appreciate the love. Thank you so much for the super chat. But like I said, something seems weird about this, okay? Obviously, there's another interview that we're going to be looking at here in just a minute from the sheriff as well, because in my mind, I'm like, man, he can't only just do local interviews. He got to be out here doing other interviews too. You know what I'm saying? Like with national news and whatnot. So we do have that video. So we're going to pull that up here right now. Where did it go? And away we go.
This morning, with a community clamoring for answers about the death of 18-year-old Nolan Wells during a July 4th boat trip with friends, the sheriff is asking for help and pleading for patience.
I think it's important that we don't put ourselves on a timetable and that we don't rush ourselves. But I do think it's important to be diligent in gathering all the facts. That's what the family deserves.
Now, I will say this is very, very trained. You know what I'm saying? This is a very trained response. Hold on. Let me read that. Miss E. Miss E, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. Pascal, I'm not sure if this is true, but I heard that there was a family that stayed on Horn Island for the entire night. Yes, that also is that is true. That is true. That was according to the family, the parents. They were like, yeah, we saw a family. They stayed the night on the actual island. Okay, so Nolan would have asked them for help if he needed it. Absolutely. That's exactly what the dad said when he went out there and was walking around the island trying to find him with no sign of him. And then hours later, his body just suddenly came out of the water, right? Was found in the water, which is very, very strange. Again, in the same area that he was partying at with his friends. That's the part that kind of bothers me. Now, I'm not expecting the water to be swish-swashing everywhere and his body to travel miles or anything like that, but I do find it weird that the water was, you know what I mean, slushing around, and then, you know what I mean? And his body was found in the same area that he was partying at. See what I'm saying? That's the part that's bothering me. Two different things could be true. Two different things are possible. All right? Two different things could be true. All right? Oh, hold on. We'll get to the two different things because Indiana has to say something. Since Pascal does not want to readdress why I said he lied, and that was because the boat he came on was not the only boat of friends Nolan's that were there. That's exactly what we just said. So if he went with another group of friends, where are the other group of friends? So where did I lie, sweetheart? Where did I lie? Where did I lie? I mean, if you were too busy typing that out over and over and over again, you might not have heard me say, hey, he said he was going on a boat with other friends. So if he was going on another boat with other friends, where are those other friends? With all due respect, where are the other friends? It's all good. You know what I'm saying? I already said that. So I don't know if I was how was I lying? But okay. It is all good. But I'm just saying, I just said that. Yeah. So two different things could be true when it comes to his body being found in the same area that this party was happening at. Two different things could be possible. Okay. One, speculation here. We're just waxing hypothetical here. All right. It's waxing possibilities here. Okay. No lying here. One could be true that he drowned right there and his body didn't move at all. And then whoop, his body popped up a day later. There's that. There's one. Or two, he went somewhere else, succumbed to water, and then somehow the current took him back over towards where the party was at, where he was last seen. It's either one. Or actually the third one. This is the nefarious one, okay? He was placed there. So three possibilities. Three. No lies, just talking possibilities here, okay? Either he drowned right there and the current wasn't strong or anything like that, so he was just sitting in there, just floating in the water, under the surface of the water, not being seen. maybe caught up on something down below. He lost his life. He drowned somewhere else, and the current brought him over to that area, which would be interesting. Or he was dropped off right there. Those are three. Someone went over there and dropped him off. Three possibilities. Just letting you guys know. No lies here. Just putting out the possibilities. Okay? All right. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to the sheriff is basically saying the same old crap. You know, here's the thing. It's interesting. We would not hear, no disrespect to this sheriff. I'm just going to keep it a bean with y'all. The only reason why this sheriff is doing any of these interviews at all right now is because of highly profiled this case has become. This is the only reason why he's all up in the videos now saying, we're doing everything we can, sir. We're chasing down all the leads, interviewing as many people as we can, but we're playing a lot of things close to the chest, sir. The only reason why he's saying any of this stuff right now is because of the pressure that his family, that Nolan's family has put out here into the zeitgeist, into the conversation, and has caused the whole nation to be looking right over at Jackson County Sheriff's Office and saying, what you gonna do, Sheriff Ledbetter? What you gonna do? That's the only reason why he's doing these things. See, this is why I said earlier in the yesterday's show that everyone, whoever, God forbid this ever happens to you, but whoever is ever in a situation like the Nolan Wells case or any other case, doesn't matter if you're black, brown, polka dotted, white, it doesn't matter. Purple, I don't care. You need to tear a page out of what this family just did, because now they have been coming out. The Jackson County Sheriff's Department has been going above and beyond now to try to be as transparent and as vocal optically out here in the social media streets now because of the pressure the parents have just applied onto this department. That's the only reason why. If no one gave a damn and they're just like, oh, it's just another black kid going missing. Oh, okay. All right. They wouldn't care. They wouldn't tell us anything. This would be a side note. And that would be it, guys. So again, this is the only reason why he's being interviewed by Good Morning America now. ABC News. This is the only reason why. Because the parents started to apply pressure, and they started to use social media and the media to do exactly that. So, I approve this message. And I'm about to say something wild. I'm about to say something wild right now. Okay? I'm going to say something really wild. Okay, no one's here. Let me just say this really quick. Come in here close. This is the other reason why I think the Guthrie family mucked up with the Nancy Guthrie case. I know. Hold on. Shh. Hold on. Don't be mad. Don't be mad. Okay? I want Nancy Guthrie to be found just as badly as anybody else. But have you noticed that the Guthrie family hasn't really done a whole lot of applying pressure over the last 7-8 months? With all due respect, they've just been kind of sitting in the back. And what happened? What happened with Thanos Nanos? With Sheriff Nanos, I call him Thanos Nanos. What happened? Where's the pressure applied? Was there any pressure applied on that sheriff? You know what I'm saying? I just want to let you guys know. What happened? All they did was move some cones on a street, and all media just vanished. Like they turned on a light and all the roaches just started to escape, started to scatter. You know what I'm saying? Just think about it. Savannah Guthrie and the Guthrie family have so much media power. And yes, there was media out there, but it was not the family out there talking and getting the word out there and, like, you know what I mean? Really getting out there. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. I hope she is found, but it's almost like they just sat back and they're like, law enforcement's going to get the job done. And what happened with law enforcement? They haven't done a damn thing with that case. Come on now. They haven't done a damn thing with that Nancy Guthrie case. And I think it's because they have not gone up and said, 5-0 ain't doing a damn thing, and just tell the truth. And say it online. Say it in an interview. Say it out here. They ain't doing a damn thing. We want transparency. We would demand it. And I guarantee you, Pima County Sheriff's Department would be all out here going, oh, well, we're having another press conference. Oh, really now? Finally, you're having a press conference after 7 months. Good on you because of the pressure. I digress. Just saying that out loud. We all want loved ones to come back home alive. We all want transparency, but like I said, tear a page out of this freaking family's book. This is how you get it done. Let's continue. But he's just still saying clinical, very by the book answers.
Wells never returned from a remote barrier island off the Mississippi Gulf Coast.
The very thing that makes Horn Island such an idyllic spot to hang out for the day is what makes the case tricky for investigators. There's nothing here. There are no phones, there are no cameras, there's no police. It's why authorities have asked anyone who was here July 4th with Nolan Wells to come forward.
Yeah. So who else was there? Who else was there? Like I said before, if he was going to get on a boat with other friends that had another boat there, where are they? And why haven't we heard anything from them? That's weird, guys. That's weird.
Even if you may think that it might be insignificant, every little bit helps. And that may be a bigger contribution than you think to this case.
Could be a public tip that breaks it open for you.
Exactly.
A close friend of Wells, Trayston Shepard, says the group spent the day swimming and drinking.
Well, we were just having fun all day, and then as the day went on, people started to drink more, and people started to get more drunk.
Here we go. Trayston now is coming out and saying, hey, we're out here, we were partying. We were here, we were getting drunk. We were getting lit. We were out here celebrating America's birthday. We were here celebrating freedom. Apple pie and Daisy Dukes. Lighting off Roman candles and shooting off bottle rockets. Right? Having a grand old time. Is that the big factor here? That it was a combination of him being drunk and all of his friends being drunk and they weren't there thinking about? They weren't here thinking about his well-being at that time? You know, kids just being kids. You feel me? But okay. This is Trayston Shepard saying this, by the way.
We asked the sheriff whether drinking or drugs played a role in Wells's death.
Of course, the rumors are out there, but we don't respond to rumors. We respond to facts.
And as investigators attempt to build a full timeline of the teen's movements and whereabouts that weekend, this photo showing Wells at a pool party has been circulating widely online and has been shared by his family's attorney. ABC News confirming it was taken a week before he visited Horn Island. Authorities initially suspect Wells drowned, although the results of autopsies by both officials and the one the family ordered are pending. On our visit to the island, we heard from a local boat captain about how the scenic haven could quickly turn treacherous.
Down there at the end of the west end of the island, yeah, there's a current that can, get you really quick, and it gets deep.
So if you're an experienced swimmer, even that area of the island could be a little dodgy?
Yes, especially with the current down there at the very end. It kind of eddies. If you're out there trying to swim that deep, yeah. Time check, please.
His parents are now planning a funeral for their son, which his mother, Christine, posted overnight, guys, does not feel real. She said all of her emotions are running together, and her post concluded, We miss you so much, Nolan. It looks like that funeral is going to be early next week at one of the big convention centers here. Guys?
I heard that the funeral is going to be done on Monday. That's just kind of what I've been hearing through the grapevine, that they are going to be conducting his funeral Monday. But I don't know. This is just what I've heard through the grapevine. Here's the other thing too. Think about this. They did talk about maybe if you walk over to another place, right? If you walk over to another place, to another area of the island, you walk out a little bit further down into the water that you can actually get pulled in, right? Get pulled in from a riptide. There's still a possibility. But here's the thing, though. No one was actually wondering where he was. No one was actually asking and inquiring about his whereabouts before they left. And what's going to drive me nuts is who was supposed to take him home then? Who was supposed to take him home then? I'm just asking a legitimate question. If he was not going to go with his original friends that brought him there in the first place, and he said he was going to hitch a ride with somebody else, who is that group of friends and who owned that boat and who knew and all that? And why was he not with them? And if he was with them, why did they not know that he disappeared? Same thing with the girl that he was talking to. Remember, he walked off to talk to a girl. What actually happened? Why did he not walk back with her to the party? Why did he go there alone? Why did he leave her alone? I don't know. It's just weird. And then where did they go? You know what I mean? Like, give me, like, I want to know specifics. She said they walked off to talk. They walked off to talk with each other. Where did they go? I mean, there's not a whole lot of island. Shoot, look at this. Look at this. Where's that shot of the reporter with the island behind him? Or yeah. No, that's not it. Where the heck is it? I could have sworn there was. Okay, look. Splam. Where did they go off to talk? It's not like they could hide behind a tree. You know what I mean? It's not like they could go hide in a tree or hide behind a whole bunch of vegetation to like maybe hook up or anything like that. You know what I mean? I don't think that they were hooking up. So where did they go? He might have been, just trying to holler, a little flirtation, little conversation. Like, I want to take you out. Let's go grab something to eat and watch a movie or something like that. But whatever 18-year-olds do. You know what I mean? And then she's like, well, I got to go back to my friends. Bye. And he's like, yeah, I got to go back to the boat. So, yeah, I'll holler. Bye. And what happened? Did they walk back to the water together? Did she walk off, or did he walk off to the side because something about the water, something about the ocean was calling him and he wanted to go and take a little dip in the water away from people? Or did he walk back to the boat? Something weird is going on here, y'all. If you ask me, something very, very strange is going on here. And again, the strangeness could just be a coincidence, which coincidences in situations like this, they very rarely do happen when it comes to situations like this, but they do. Let's not forget what happened to Riley Strain. The young man, frat boy from Mizzou at Nashville, having a grand old time, got blitzed out of his freaking mind, got let go or like kind of kicked out of this bar in Nashville, walked down the by the river and fell in. How about Kylie Rodney? What about her? At a party out in some wooded area, having a great time, kicking it, blah, blah, blah. Might have been drinking, got into her car, took the wrong street, took the wrong road, and drove right into like a lake, only for her car and herself to be found inside that car in that lake. You see what I'm saying? So very wild stuff. Oh, let's not forget Marley Kinney. That just happened just a few weeks ago. A girl on a boat with her friends. They went to Sex Rock. They're having a great time. She jumps into the lake to take a leak, allegedly, and she never comes back up again. And then her friends are all wondering, where did she go? What happened? Where did she go? When all she did is jump into the lake to go take a piss. Allegedly, that's what they say that she did. Only for her to not come back up out of the lake. These kind of cases happen all the time where nothing nefarious happens. It's just strange coincidences that happen. Strange and unfortunate circumstances that happen all at the same time. So when it comes to this, and he's like, you know, maybe he was flirting with Katie. I think Katie McCormick, I think, or something like that. Katie McCormick, I think is her name. But anyway, he's talking to her. She's like, okay, you know, call me, you know. And he's like, yeah, I will. You know, I will. Maybe that's what it was, right? She walks off. He's like, yeah, I'm going to go head back to the boys. We're going to head back to the mainland. So we're going to kick it. I'll see you in a little bit, right? I'll holler at you then, right? Yeah, I'll see you there. Cool, bet. And then he just looks out into the water and says, I'm going to take one last dip over here. It's not chaotic. Maybe they walked a distance away. You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Like, it just seems so strange that maybe he just got like, oh, let me just take a little quick dip. And I'm away from everybody, so let me just do that. And then he just jumps into the lake, into the water. And then suddenly he swims a little bit too far. And he gets sucked in by a riptide. Like I said, it is so strange. It is so mother-loving strange. I still don't understand how this is even happening and how this is even real. But it could very well be that. Or something really, really bad happened at the hands of one of his friends, or his friends knew something. His friends knew something, but they did nothing about it. So again, it's just, like I said, something very strange. You look at the sandbar or island or whatever you want to call it. The sandbar itself, it is very wild that someone could be missed, that something bad could be overlooked or not even seen. And then afterwards, people are not even actually concerned about your well-being before they even leave that location, right? Yeah, hold on. Pam on Facebook, I appreciate the question. All right, Pascal, have you seen the video from recently where a family paddleboarders helped a young black man that his white friends threw him in a river with a life jacket, but they're saying nasty things and they were making all kinds of animal noises and stuff. It's like that still happens every day. Yes, it does, Pam. And thank you so much for the comment on Facebook. And what's really crazy is people are sharing that and saying that video is Nolan Wells. I meant to hit. It's dumb. People are sharing that video and going, "Oh yeah, that's Nolan Wells. He was just saved by a white family. Don't you see? They were paddleboarding and they saw the whole situation and blah blah blah." It is not Nolan, guys. Have mercy. That video has been viral for weeks now. That particular video. That particular video has nothing to do with Nolan Wells, and everyone's sharing it like it is. Okay? Stop. Stop sharing it like it is. Just share it if you're realizing that racism still exists even within these young cats out here. And there's bullying all day long, okay? Quantum VP, thank you so much. Did Katie have a boyfriend or jealous ex on that island? That is something I'm still wanting to know too, Quantum. Okay? Because it doesn't make any sense. He's chopping it up with a girl. It seems like everything's chill, everything's Gucci, and then all of a sudden he gone? Why? Jealous ex, jealous boyfriend. Like I said, what actually happened here, right? So here's something. I got to share this with you guys because this is something that is bothering me. I just saw it on Don Lemon's show, and I have to share this because I tried to find it, and I can't find the original clip. So I have to, of course, give him credit. This is on Don Lemon's show, so you're going to see his face on here, in I guess a correspondent on his show. In just a minute. But this we got to talk about, okay? We have definitely got to talk about the retrieval of the actual phone. The retrieval of the phone is a very strange one to me. I have a huge problem with the retrieval of Nolan's phone. First and foremost, why did it take so long for Nolan's friends? We'll just put his friends, the word friends in quotations. Why did it take his friends this long, so long, to actually give the phone to Nolan's parents? That should have been the first thing that should have been done right out the gate. Why did it take them so doggone long to give the phone back to Nolan's parents? One thing is for sure. Just a quick recap before we go into this clip. I tried to find this somewhere else. I couldn't find it. Okay? But let me just say this. They allegedly, okay, and shout out to Don Lemon for this clip, for sure. He said, they according to them, the Javon's mom, okay, Javon's mom speaks out in this interview, and she talks about how she had to track down, they used Life 360, they tracked the phone down to one of Nolan's friends. They went to Nolan's friend's house, saw them and a bunch of other people, I guess a bunch of other kids that was just sitting there chilling, watching TV, and turned to them and being like, "Hey, can I get the phone? Can I get Nolan's phone? I understand that you have Nolan's phone. Can I get Nolan's phone, please?" The kid was like, "Yeah, I got you. Let me go get it." And it took them 15 whole minutes. 15 whole minutes to actually go and get the phone and put it back into the hands of Javon's mother's, into Javon's mother's home, Javon's mother's hands. Okay, it took them 15 whole minutes to go upstairs or wherever the phone was, get the phone, and put it into Javon's mother's hands. Why did it take this long to get a phone in a house? Yeah, Rose City, my speculation is that they started deleting stuff. They took the time to try to break into his phone, get all the stuff out that was incriminating, and then deleted everything they could. Now, I want to play it for you guys so you guys can hear it for yourself. This is from Don Lemon, okay? I looked everywhere to try to find the clip without Don Lemon in it, of course, but I couldn't find it. So here it is. Okay, guys?
Christine called me and told me, "Hey, where are the boys? Nolan hasn't been heard from since such and such time. Where are your boys?" I said, "Well, Javon is with his girlfriend, and I just spoke with Jalen, and they are headed to downtown," which I was literally getting ready to get in the shower to go downtown as well. She said, "Well, Nolan hasn't been." So I instantly called with Christine on the phone, Javon. Javon said no, he hadn't seen Nolan since early on the island. And he was like, what? Are y'all serious? We was like, yes. And so Christine intervened in the conversation, said, Nolan has not have been heard from since he left the island. So Javon was like, well, that's when I seen it. I haven't seen it since then. You know, again, everybody goes their separate ways. So I then hang up from Javon because obviously there's nothing he can say to tell me anything. So then Jalen, I call him. Jalen did not answer the phone. Christine again is on the phone. Jalen did not answer the phone. LeBaron, I called, he didn't answer the phone. I called LeBaron, which is their other friend, LeBaron Broomfield. He answered. He said, Jalen is in the gas station. Hold on. So he said, hey, Jalen, Mom on the phone. So he was like, Jalen, like, what's up, Mom? What's going on? I was like, hey, have y'all heard from Nolan? They said, no, we have not heard from Nolan.
But where was the phone?
So I was like, well, okay. So that's when we started tracking the phone. Well, for Christine, it said one place, but for them on Snapchat, it showed another place.
So that's very big. They were able to go on Snapchat and track his phone in a more accurate area. All right. So they called a bunch of his friends. Some of them weren't answering the phones. They weren't answering phones and all that. And then suddenly they were able to get a hold of somebody. They did the Life 360. It didn't give an accurate location. So they used Snapchat to get a very accurate location, and that's how they were able to zero in on where his phone was. And let me just say this one more again. Why would it take them, why would they have to go at great lengths to go get the phone like this? Why would they have to use Snapchat and Life 360, any apps at all? These kids should have been like, yo, hey, how can I get a hold of Nolan's mom? How can I get a hold of Nolan's family? Can I reach out to somebody? Yo, Javon, you're best friends with Nolan. Is there a way you can call or get me in touch with the parents so I can get this phone back into their hands? That should have been numero uno. That should have been the first mother-loving thing they did, but they didn't do that. That's weird, guys. Continuing on.
So that's the place we went to. And it showed that everybody that was in the house, it was like a lot of people there. Like it was, I'm not familiar with all the kids. I only know like one or two there. But it showed that the phone was at what a lot of people were at. So that's how we knew where to go to. We went there. They were all there. They were sitting there, lights off, watching TV.
That's crazy. You got a bunch of people chilling, watching TV, hanging out. Like, that's weird, man. That's weird. They're all just hanging out. Why are they all hanging out? See, this is when the speculation and the tinfoil hat, gets put on my head. Yeah, harboring the phone, Chelsea, I agree. Harboring the phone is it's diabolical. It's absolutely mad, okay? It's bonkers. They were holding onto the phone, and then they were all hanging out at the crib. Why were they hanging out at the crib all together? Why was that happening? You see what I'm saying? See, you see all that, then everyone sits there and goes, maybe they're in the room together plotting. Maybe they're all out here plotting. They got together to talk about all that, right? But again, like I said, it's weird, right? That they had to use all those apps to zero in on where his phone was. And then they went to that house. And that all these people are together watching TV and hanging out. That's weird.
Did they immediately give you the phone? Because knowing that phone was there.
It took about 15. They did. They gave me the phone, but it took about 15 minutes to get the phone. Because I even asked, I'm like, did y'all have to walk back to Horn Island to get the phone? Or
damn.
Like, where's the phone? Because it took so long when they said it was when Wyatt told me it was in his truck. It took him so long to get the phone back to me.
What if it was in your truck? Why would it take you 15 minutes to go through your truck to get the phone? You see what I'm saying? On God, the math is not mathing, y'all. The math is not mathing with this. 15 whole minutes to rifle through your car to get a phone? And they already been known that the phone is in his possession. He already knew that the phone was in his possession? What?
So when they brought the phone back.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Tashima. I want to hear that.
When they brought the phone, after I said something about it, he was like, well, she's going to get it. I was like, who's going to get it? He's like, the girl's going to get the phone.
That, to me, is very weird. Okay? You got that going on. That doesn't make any sense to me, guys. I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. That is weird. That don't make no damn sense to me. Okay? It just doesn't. Quantum, yeah. Thank you so much for the super chat. All right? But it does sound like they were coming up with a story though. You know what I mean? I agree. That is the vibe I'm getting. That's the impression that I'm getting. Why would they come up? Why would all of them be together in one place at the same time unless they were like, we don't know what to do and we need to find Nolan. I hope he's okay. And they're all getting together about that. Maybe that's what's going on. But at the same time, it's just so weird that they're all together and then not one of them said, we should get the phone back. We should get the phone back to the parents, like right now. Let's drive over there and drop it off to them right now. You don't find that weird? What up, T? Make that make sense. Seems weird. You heard that from Javon or Javon's own mother's mouth. Something really weird is going on here. We got more from that interview. It's super fuzzy, but you'll get the general idea. Let's take a listen.
There have been so many people who have come out of the woodwork to praise your son. People have said that they're best friends, that they're family members. What has it been like for you to hear so many people try to tell your son's story?
It's been a bit frustrating just because it's like, but did you really know him type of thing? Like, were you really around? Were you really there supporting? Because if I remember correctly, a lot of the support was most of the time just me and his dad. I know we've had a few people that could help here and there. Tashima's always there supporting, games and different things. So it's a bit frustrating because, I get this has blown up nationally, but that doesn't give you the right to try to tell a story that you don't know about someone who you're only getting this small section of what has happened and you're trying to spin it into something for clout. I'm kind of over all of that. I try not to respond to things. I do stay away from social media for the most part, other than occasionally I will scroll, but it's disgusting. I don't think people realize that, me and my husband, we see that. Our younger child, our younger boys, they see that. Our older kids see that. At the end of the day, this was our son, our children's brother. He was a grandson. He was a friend. He was all of these things. And for people to just speak so negatively and act like they know everything, it's disgusting. We have definitely gotten to a point where we're lacking empathy. People just don't have it. Or I don't know, maybe they just don't care to have it. But, it's definitely things need to change for sure, and people need to watch what they say and what they do, because that has effects on others.
Your son is not a headline. He is your child. He belongs to your family, and I desperately hope you get the truth, ma'am.
I mean, I hope so too. There needs to be some sort of clarification here. Very, very soon. But a lot of the math ain't mathing, y'all. real talk, a lot of this math is just not mathing. Like I said, what happened to this kid? What actually happened to him? I don't know if we're ever going to hear. I don't think we're going to be hearing that anytime soon. I'm hoping that we do find out very soon, but anything's possible, right? Anything's possible. There have been rumors that have been flying out the gate like crazy. People have been speculating like crazy. There's been rumors out here, all right, that people have been like, oh yeah, he was after he passed away. They were busy washing the boat at the judge's house and all that. And it's like, well, we don't know if that's entirely true. They may have just been washing the boat for the sake of washing the boat because of salt water. That's it. Just rinsing it down. So again, like I said, there's a lot that has been popping off, and yeah, a lot of people are coming up with all kinds of lies too. Like, it's insane. Like, especially with the GoFundMe, because they've raised a considerable amount of money, right? And now people are trying to make accusations about the family trying to basically use their son's death as an opportunity to scoop a bag. I mean, it's like I said, it's just some people just got too much time on their hands. Real talk. Okay. Hold on. Hold on one second. Hold on. Yeah, we gotta check this thing out. Hold on.
Witnesses.
So there is a judge that did speak out. I found this on Hype News. Shout out to Hype News, but this is a former Mississippi judge speaking on this whole Nolan Wells case. I've been wanting to share this and watch this with you guys, so we're going to take a look at it now. Very interesting stuff that he says here, but I am going to speed it up just a little bit so that we can cover more stuff in a little amount of time. So let's take a listen.
And highlighting some key issues he sees with the case. According to former judge, now attorney Carlos Moore, who served in a municipal court in Mississippi for a little over 6 years, someone should have been arrested by now for several different reasons. Moore, who would end up being pushed from the bench after previously speaking out against racial discrimination on social media while serving as a judge, would take to his Facebook page on Friday night for over 30 minutes to air out questionable behavior he sees with how local officials are handling the case from the inside.
It's time out for playing.
Hold on, really quick. I just realized he does have a point, okay? He does have a point. Here's what's interesting. Some people should have been arrested, or they should have been hit with something. If you really think about it, you have underage drinking that was going on. Now, whether or not Nolan partook or not, it looked like he did. We saw photos of that. We confirmed those photos. He's holding like a high noon seltzer, okay, vodka seltzer drink. All right, so we have proof of him actually drinking. People should have been charged with something, either giving minors liquor or something of that sort. Laws were broken at this particular sandbar. Laws were broken because there was a bunch of underage kids partaking in liquor, partaking in drinking. So there should be some charges made. Where are they? Where are they? That's weird. That just popped in my head just now. Okay. Now here's the thing. It is confirmed. They were drinking. Okay. They were drinking. Even Trayston Shepard says we were all getting drunk. We were all drinking. Trayston's 20 years old. He's not even legal yet. Trayston is only 20 years old. Okay, guys? I don't understand what's up with the fam in here. Y'all fighting me for whatever reason. It's BS, y'all. Some bullshnish. I'm just giving you guys facts. Underage drinking. These kids are not of legal age to consume alcohol. And there was a bunch of them drinking alcohol. And there's photos of them holding on to drinks in their hands. How many things do I need to tell y'all? Okay? White Claw is not strong. It is not, but it's still an alcoholic drink, which makes it illegal. It's like you saying, oh, yeah, you know, this weed isn't that strong, so let the kids smoke the weed. Huh? It's still not legal. That's it. Okay? So don't feed me the bushnish. Please and thank you. Mr. Wallace, thank you so much for the love. Crazy, I think you're saying crazy this is getting a bag. Crazy these getting a bag claims coming from the same group of people who will donate money to people after being held responsible for being racist. Yep. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I find that very interesting too, don't you think? I mean, but that's a real thing. It's a real thing. Okay? It really happens. That's the weird upside down world that we live in. Okay? So, regardless, these kids out there, not of age, drinking white seltzers or white claws and all those seltzer drinks, they're still alcoholic drinks. You drink enough of them, you can get zooted. You can definitely get drunk. All I can say is that there's no charges. Who was operating the actual boat? People were buying the liquor for them. There were adults there that were also allowing their kids to drink. There are no charges made. That makes no sense, guys. None whatsoever. None. But let's continue. All right?
Games, it's time to know the truth from someone well-versed in it that has actual experience. I've worn the robe, the black robe, and I've presided over these trials or preliminary hearings, arraignments, and initial appearances. Let's get started. So what do we know? We know, after watching the parents' interview and reviewing tons of footage from social media, recounting interviews and statements of alleged witnesses that were on Horn Island, we know that Nolan Wells went to spend the night on July the 3rd with his so-called friends. And he went with those so-called friends to Horn Island on a boat on July the 4th. We know that out of the 4 people on that boat, 1 did not return home. That 1 person was Nolan Wells. The other 3 returned home as normal and said nothing to any member of law enforcement or to the Coast Guard until at least 11 p.m. at night on July the 4th. We know that at least 1 of the so-called friends was found with the phone of Nolan Wells. And we know this based on the testimony of the parents, specifically the mother, who tracked the phone and was led to the home of one of the young men where she retrieved the phone. We also know that based on the mother's testimony that Snapchat, there were no Snapchats from the day, which was very odd for her son. We also know that text messages were deleted. We know that when she was tracking the phone, Life 360 said the phone was one place and Snapchat said it was another place. We know that the boy that had the phone did not voluntarily turn it over or call first. He had to be found through their own investigation. We know that based on witnesses' account, the so-called friends were seen on July the 5th, that Sunday, having breakfast together like nothing had happened. They were not out there searching for their so-called friend. We know that the so-called...
I need to point that out too. I think that is very interesting that no one went out of their way to try to find him. Even like the next day, they didn't go and they didn't get their boat out there to go try to find him. No one did anything. Like none of his friends, none of the family, none of the parents of the friends even said, hey, let me go out there and help you try to find Nolan real quick. Where did he go? Blah, blah, blah. They didn't even bother. That's weird, right? Now, again, that could mean nothing. That could mean absolutely nothing. But I do find it strange that you got a kid gone and no one tried at least the very next day to go back and try to find him. Even so, they went back around 4:30. They went back home around 4:30. Sun doesn't go down until probably, a little bit later in the night. You know what I'm saying? The sun doesn't go down at 6. It ain't winter time. So why didn't they go back out there? Yes, I understand it's a 45-minute ride. It's an hour and a half round trip. But at the same time, why didn't they go back and try to find him? They just held onto his phone, told nobody anything about it, held his keys, by the way, too, didn't tell anybody about any of that, and then had a little meeting of their own with their friends at the house, still holding on to the phone, instead of being proactive and trying to find ways to see if they could find their good friend Nolan. So again, that's weird, guys. Like I said, why did they sit on their asses and not do anything? Now, I get it that they're kids. Kids can be real dumb sometimes. Kids can be naive. Kids can be ignorant. Kids can make very, very innocent mistakes. But at the same time, this is one of your friends that's missing. And also, you guys are older. You guys are, 17, 18. This is not like you're 12, 13. You're all becoming young adults. Y'all are young adults. Why are you not thinking as such? It's wild. It's wild. Again, no one went out of their way to go, hey, let's get the boat back out there. Mom, I know we just washed the boat down, but come on. Like, can we go back out there? Come on, can we go back out there, Mom? I understand it's 45 minutes. I get it, but we don't know where he is. He actually could be out there. Can we go find him? Can we go get him really quick? So on and so forth. Can we just go find him? You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's it, man. That's all you need to do. But they didn't do that. That's weird. Sorry. It's weird.
Our friends deleted their social media.
Yep. Weird.
Deactivated their accounts and scrubbed it clean if the allegations are correct.
And that is correct. They have been doing that. I don't know if all of them have, but there's a lot of people that have. That's weird, y'all. I find that very strange, don't you think? Also, by the way, guys, please do me a favor, okay? If you guys are rocking with me, you guys are, watching the show and being respectful, all right? Please hit that like button down below. Can we get it to 1K? Can we quickly and easily get it to 1K? That would really mean the world to me. All right, while we listen to a snippet of this, that would really mean the world to me. Please hit the like button. Also, here's the other thing. Don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe. All right? All of it is weird. Too many strange goings-ons. Let's go.
We know that the young man that had the car at his house did not willingly turn over the keys. At first, he said that he did not have the keys. He didn't know where they were. Then he, after being pressed by the father, he finally turned over the keys.
That's weird.
This is all very suspicious activity. We know that based on an audio recording and some video that Nolan Wells can be heard saying, give me my freaking keys. Excuse me, give me my freaking phone. And there's been two different versions. Some say he said, give me my freaking phone, or some say he said, give me my Now,
I want to make this abundantly clear. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit because that has already been clarified, I guess, that it was not him saying that. it was actually Trayston saying something about get me off this boat, but it doesn't sound like that to me. Sorry, I'm sorry. It doesn't sound like he's saying, get me off that boat. Get me off this boat. It doesn't sound like that to me. It really doesn't. Just keeping it real. It doesn't sound like that to me. But again, it could very well be what he said. But it has been debunked by him. All right? So let's continue.
His phone, who did not have permission to have his phone.
Yeah.
So the first thing I see, the simplest thing I see is who had his phone and why. And was that theft of the phone? Sometimes we look at the largest case, we try to get to murder, but the person that took his phone committed the crime right there. There are witnesses to who took that phone. If an affidavit is signed, an arrest warrant could be signed by a judge in Mississippi to go after that person that had that phone unlawfully. We know, based on his own words, Nolan Wells' words while he was alive, he did not give whoever had that phone permission to have that phone. So was that theft? I think if an affidavit is signed, if it was presented to me when I was a judge, I would have signed an arrest warrant for the person for theft of that phone, based on what I've heard. It'd have to be an affidavit format, but if it was presented to me, an affidavit format from law enforcement, I would sign the arrest warrant for, at least at this point, theft of the man's phone. We know who had it. We know who didn't report it to the family. The family had to go find it, and we know that Nolan Wells said give it back to him, and evidently it was not given back to him. Why was that? All of the other things I've stated, you piece it together. Is there enough right now for arrest warrants for murder? That is a good question. I do know at this point there should have been search warrants signed by a judge. Evidence should have been presented to a judge by now. We are nearly 7 days after July the 4th, when he was first reported missing. There should have been evidence submitted by Jackson County law enforcement agents, the sheriff's department specifically, presented to a judge so that search warrants could be signed by the judge, and there needs to be, or should have been, someone questioning the young men, the three so-called friends, and others, and the social media accounts need to be searched by now, or at least a search warrant should have been issued for the appropriate entities to give the law enforcement access to the social media information. That should have been done by now. I'm not telling you what I imagine. I'm telling you what the process usually is when you're trying to do a thorough investigation. And based on what's revealed from a thorough investigation, I do believe once the evidence is secured, it's going to lead, and it should lead, to the arrest of one or more individuals for the murder of Nolan Wells. All of the actions are very suspicious, and right now they lead one to believe that one or more persons could have been involved with the death of Nolan Wells. Right now we have a lot of unsworn testimony, but once that is put into affidavit format and there is corroborating evidence through social media, computers, or otherwise, I believe that at that point there will be enough evidence for a judge to sign an arrest warrant. I think critical evidence that's missing right now are the results of the autopsy, the state's autopsy and the independent autopsy. That's going to be critical information. And that alone, or that in connection with what's already known, may be enough to lead to an arrest or arrest. We do know at this point, low-hanging fruit, there should be an investigation about the underage drinking, who provided the alcohol. Those individuals could be immediately arrested based on, if there was any sworn testimony presented to a judge, I believe a judge could immediately sign an arrest warrant for those who provided the alcohol to underage individuals. There's a lot of people and a lot of potential crimes, some misdemeanors and felonies, that people could be held accountable for. Was there any boating while intoxicated? who was the captain of the boat, and what did he allow
Thank you.
on his boat.
Thank you.
If there were any illegal drugs possessed by anyone.
Yep. Exactly. Okay. Exactly. Exactly what I was just saying earlier. There should be. Okay. There should be charges of some sort coming towards any of the people that were involved in this situation. Okay. It may not be in connection to Nolan Wells's demise, but there's a lot that happened on that boat that was not legal at all. And I don't care. I don't care if you grew up. I don't care if you're raising your children the European way, where they can sip a little beer with you and blah 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 under your supervision and all that stuff. I don't care. You have a little wine with with dinner with your friends and all that, or not some wine with your dinner with your kids, that kind of thing. Like, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. All right. But when you're going to a big event and you're kicking it, the drinking should not be allowed. It shouldn't. I don't care if you are trying to be the cool parent. You shouldn't try to be the cool parent, because things like this can happen, right? Let's not forget. Remember, I forgot the guy's name, but there was a guy that was he was driving a boat, a father driving a boat for his daughter. It was like his daughter's 19th birthday or something like that. And it was a bunch of girls on the boat with him. And there was considerable amounts of drinking going on that boat. And this happened in the Keys, if my memory is correct. The whole boat flipped upside down. So, 2 girls lost their lives, all right, due to the situation. And if they weren't drinking, none of that would have happened, because the parent was too busy trying to be cool with his daughter and his daughter's 19-year-old underage girls on this boat. And yes, he just was found not guilty for the murder of these 2 young girls that were on the boat that he had full control over, and he was the adult in the group of people on that mother-loving boat. George Pino. Thank you. Yes, exactly. George Pino. So instead, he gets off. But the tragedy actually happened as soon as he started to allow those girls to drink on that boat. And then he was drinking as well. And then he was speeding on his boat, trying to go as fast as he could, trying to impress the girls, these young, underage girls, and then had a tragic and deadly accident that took the life of 2 girls. All right? So again, it's really not that important to try to be the cool dad or be the cool parent, because at the end of the day, things like this could happen, right? You got this same situation. I guarantee you that these parents were probably like, oh, they're in college, they're already drinking anyway. Or, oh, they're graduating, they're done, they clearly are drinking. So why don't just let them drink in front of us? No big deal. You understand how many bad ways how many things can go bad when it's a young kid who, young impressionable kid, doesn't know what he's doing. They're tying one on hard, going hard in the paint, drinking. Bad things can happen. And look what happened here. They left a friend behind. They left a friend behind, guys. Imagine that. All because of the drinking, too. This would be a different story if it was like, oh, we were at a Christian retreat. And the whole thing was a holy event. No liquor, no drugs, no paraphernalia, no substances of any kind were involved. It was just getting high off the Lord. And then this happens. That'll be a different story. But that's not the case here. If there wasn't drinking involved, I'm sure this young man would still be on this planet today. At least I think it would happen. At least I think that would be the case. Jury's still out on that too.
Drugs are still illegal.
No doubt.
In Mississippi, at least they were when I was on the bench. Drug possession, drug use, selling of drugs, dealing drugs, trafficking drugs. We've heard testimony, or allegations at least. I don't think anything's been put in affidavit format yet, about rampant drug use among certain individuals. So there are a lot of things that's been alleged. Once put into the correct format, affidavit-wise, it could lead to arrest for several things, including misdemeanors and maybe even felonies. So there's a lot left to do. We are not rushing to judgment, but I just thought I would come on here and tell you that there definitely should be search warrants issued by now, and there could be arrest warrants for certain crimes issued by now. But for the ultimate crime of murder, it is probably wise to wait to see what the autopsy reveals, or that both autopsies reveal, and then parcel that together with all the video footage, all the witness statements taken, any affidavits gathered, and then make a decision, get it all to a judge at that point, for a judge to decide whether or not to sign a warrant for the arrest of one or more individuals. It would be very interesting to see what the autopsy shows. There's also the potential for kidnapping. It needs to be looked at whether or not they can get to murder. Was there kidnapping? Was this young man taken somewhere against his will at any point? Was there abuse of a corpse even after he died? So there's a lot of things that need to be looked at from various law enforcement perspectives. Law enforcement has to do their job and get the information to a judge in the right format before a judge can act. Had I still been on the bench, if I wanted to act, I could not act unilaterally. I would have to wait till law enforcement brought me the evidence in the right format before I could sign an arrest warrant, before I could sign a search warrant. And so that's how the process works. That's how the process works. And so I am happy to be a retired judge. I'm always going to shoot it to you straight with no chaser. Straight with no chaser. I will tell you the God honest truth. I can tell you this one thing. I may have been born at night, but I was not born last night. And one thing about it.
I may have been born in the day, but I wasn't born yesterday. That's the one I use, but okay.
You cannot fool the informed. I've been on the inside. I know the process. And we will not sit quietly and allow this to be swept under the rug. I will call your hand. I will call your hand. You're not going to play these people for a fool. You are not going to play these people for a fool. We know the process. And we know what you should be doing. And by God, I plan to make sure you do it. Or we're going to call you out each and every time. There is a process. What I do know is, had the roles been reversed, by now, there would likely have been already arrests made. It wouldn't have taken all 6 days, 7 days, whatever amount of days it's going to take. Had the roles been reversed, the wheels of justice spin quickly. Somebody would have been arrested for something by now.
Now, I agree. For something. Now, again, like I said, it may not be in connection to Nolan's demise, but somebody should be getting hit with something. These people, these kids were drinking. They were not of age. Someone was operating this boat, and I, for damn sure, do not think it was one of Nolan's best friends. It had to have been an adult. I would assume it was an adult. Regardless, it would be a question of, where did these kids get the liquor in the first place? Where did the kids get the drinks in the first place? Did they use a fake ID, which would also be a problem? Or did the parents supply the liquor for them, thinking it's no big deal, they already drink anyway, let them drink? But you're drinking and boating at the same time. You see what I'm saying? So there's a multitude of issues here, but no one's gotten hit with anything, guys. No one's gotten hit with anything. And it does make you wonder why. Now, if you guys don't remember, one of Nolan's friends, his stepmother is a judge in that same county. Ashley Cole, if my memory serves me correct. She's one that came out and made a statement basically saying like, hey, we have deactivated and turned off our social medias because we're getting threats, blah, blah, blah. My stepson is very upset about everything. We hope that the family gets as much transparency, and I hope if there's justice that needs to be served, is served, and blah, blah, blah. His stepmom, the judge, went out of her way to make that statement. And then she turned off her social media as well. Interesting. But again, that boat was hers. Or was her family's. Who was driving the boat? And like I said, it's just because those charges, those pending charges, they should be pending charges, okay, that should be bestowed upon the kids and on the person who was operating the actual boat and any adult that was involved in there as well that knew that they were drinking. Why hasn't that happened yet? Is it because of her influence? Is it because the judge was able to use her power a little bit? Think about that for a second. Now, is that power to cover up a high-profile case like Nolan Wells? Or is it just her stretching and exercising her power so that she and other people that were involved in allowing these kids to party in the way that they were partying, not them getting caught with some sort of charge? Like I said, I understand why all of us are all side-eyeing the situation. And I honestly have to say, it's more than just, it's beyond the race stuff. The race stuff is still on the table. It's just off to the side. That is not the main focus here. The main focus is, why did something happen to this kid? What happened to this kid? And why is there a cover-up happening? Remember, these are people that really loved him, consider him a really good friend, best friends with this guy, so on and so forth. You got Trayston even saying he was my best friend, when there's rumor saying that he was not close friends with Nolan at all. Now, of course, there's going to be speculation and people saying that all the time. But at the same time, people are talking. People are saying things. So what actually happened to Nolan Wells? And why hasn't anyone been hit with anything? Not in connection. I'm just saying it's within proximity to this mysterious case of Nolan Wells. Somebody else needs to be held responsible for the wrongdoings that happened here, for the wrong choices and the bad parenting that was chosen here. Think about that. Like I said, without the parents or whoever it was that went out there and bought the liquor, put it on the boat, drove out with the kids on the boat, and either said, no, you guys partake, I'm good, I'm going to stay sober because I have to drive the boat. What happened? Why is that person not getting charged with something? It's weird. It's weird, y'all. So I got questions. Okay? And Classic, you ain't wrong. This ain't the first case involving a black victim that has been poorly handled. You are not wrong. Okay? Kendrick Johnson comes into mind. Tamla Hosford. Hopefully I'm saying that last name correctly. The black girl that went to a slumber party with a bunch of white girls, only for her to plummet to her death. Right? It's a lot of weird stuff going on, guys. And again, like I said, those are just some of the cases. We've covered a lot of cases where they just completely destroyed the case for not doing their due diligence, like Sebastian Rogers, like Nancy Guthrie, like Summer Wells, right? And all they have to do is just do just a tiny bit of questioning, and it'd be a completely different story, completely different ball game. But the thing is that Horsford, thank you. Tamla Horsford, thank you. Thank you, Ace. I appreciate you. All right. But there's been plenty of cases, and that's the problem. Without having a lawyer like a Benjamin Crump type that is going to call out specific people, specific departments, a lot of times things just end up being put on the table, and those cases just end up collecting dust, and then they become cold cases, like a Sebastian Rogers, like a Nancy Guthrie. I mean, there's other people out here that are still talking about Nancy Guthrie. Like, still talking about Nancy Guthrie, which, hey, her name still needs to be out there, right? People are still talking about Sebastian Rogers, but it hasn't grabbed the nation's attention anymore, unless there's a huge development in those cases. It's a sad thing, y'all. It's a real sad thing that with what we're seeing here, especially with this case. We have to wait. I mean, here's the thing. It's not like he hasn't been found. He has been found. He's not missing. He has been found, but the thing that is still missing are the pieces of the puzzle that paint us a bigger picture of what actually happened here. That's the biggest problem here. We don't know. We need answers, and I'm hoping to God we get answers very, very soon. And yes, Jay Ballou, I agree. A toxicology report will say a lot. It will be tremendous when that actually happens, when they actually release that. But that's not for a while now. But we can at least get some ideas of what was going on when we get that autopsy report. When will we get that autopsy report? I do not know. In fact, I'm going to do a quick search real quick just to see if there's any update on Nolan right now. So far, no. So far, no. No new updates. But again, we're going to keep an eye on it, okay? We got a lot to talk about, all right? And we got a lot to cover. I will be back on a little bit later on this evening. I'll be back on in a couple hours because there are some other cases that we need to talk about and we have not discussed in a while, unless there's an update on Nolan, on the Nolan Wells case. Then we'll definitely talk about that as well, okay? Yes, Lashinda, I agree. If they're doing their due diligence and investigating things, they should look at that boat and see if that bilge pump really is broken and see if there really is a problem with the boat. And then they should run things. They should they should investigate the boat just in case something could have happened when he got on that boat. But like I said, if he was supposed to go onto another boat with a bunch of other friends Who are those friends? And what boat is that? We need to get that answered too. No one's been asking that. Have you noticed that no one's asking that right now? No one's asking that, guys. No one's asking that. You don't find that weird? Think about that for a second, guys. Think about that for just a hot minute. You mean to tell me he said he was going to go and take a ride with somebody else. So then please present us the friends then. The other set of friends that he was supposed to meet up with to go on a boat with. Who are they? What do they look like? Are they white as well? Are they black? What are their names? What kind of boat was it? What's the name of the boat? That's extremely important information right there, guys. Extremely important. He said he was going to go on a boat with another group of friends. Who are those friends, and why have they not spoken out? You've heard the girl that he was talking to. So I believe the girl. I really do. She said, we talked a little bit and then I walked away. And he said that he was going to go back on the boat with his friends. She may have mistaken that and thought that he was going to go on the boat with the original friends when he actually meant the other boat with the other group of friends. That's possible too. But then at the same time, no one has ever produced boat number 2. Who was on the damn boat and on number 2? Number 2 boat. Who was on the damn boat? Who was it? And what are their names? What was the name of the boat? Who was driving the boat? Questions, everybody. Questions. Who was on the damn boat number 2? Who? Blood clot. Who on number 2? Don't know, guys. Do you? If that part is true, where is it? Please and thank you. But don't worry, guys. We got a lot to talk about. There's some more. Okay? Yeah. For real, though, 5-1. Okay? I know I'm goofy sometimes, but at the same time, I'm speaking nothing but the truth. I ain't gonna hold y'all. I'm gonna keep it a bean with y'all and let you know what the F is going on. Who is in number 2? If that story is true. Damn, man. Damn. It's annoying to me, man. You know what I'm saying? Jamaica. You know what I mean? Who the hell was on boat number 2? If that's even a true story. And if it is a true story, please, will the real Slim Shady please stand up? I repeat, will the real Slim Shady please stand up? That's all. Okay? It's really bothering me. Okay? They need to figure that out. ASAP Rocky. You know, there is a piece that, okay. You know, all right. I said I was going to wrap it up. Hold on. I lied. Okay. All right. Here's the thing. There is something I was going to do as a short. I probably will be doing it as a short anyway. There is something that people are talking about from Nicole Everything. I've been sent this, and people have been sending me this in a DM since yesterday, and we need to listen to this. Okay, I lied, guys. I lied. I'm so sorry. I lied. I got one more video that I want to share with y'all because I just need to share with y'all. All right. This is from an Instagram page called Nicole Everything. All right. And this is just it's bothering me, man. Okay. This is from her account. Apparently, this is an audio that just came out of somebody talking about this situation, which is weird. Okay. So says here, and I'm probably gonna have to refresh it so we can play the video because it started playing without me being able to stop it. So here it is. So according to this is what they the caption. All right. One of the followers sent me this girl. My followers sent me this. The girl didn't want to be seen or mentioned. I'm still sharing everything I can. Maybe it can help. Does the ending of the video seem a little odd to you? Also, listening to this audio, I could have sworn the friend that spoke to the news earlier, Trayston Shepard, said nobody knew the girl Katie and Nolan and her had just met. Now this young lady is saying Warren told people to call Katie, which means they did know her. What the F is the actual truth, or what the F is the truth? So let's take a listen to this. I'm going to refresh this really quick.
We got out to the island around like 10:30. Everybody was hanging out, having a good time. And then it came time to leave. And so Wyatt was like, Nolan, get on the boat. Like, come on, we're leaving. And Nolan was talking to that girl, Katie McCormick. And he was like, oh, I'm just going to go back. I'm going to go off.
You heard that, right? He was talking to Katie McCormick. So Wyatt said that he was talking to Katie McCormick, that Nolan, I'm assuming, was talking to Katie McCormick. You got that, right?
TikTok only lets you send 1 minute videos.
Well, I know.
Yeah. But he was like, oh, I'm just going to go back with Katie. And we'll be right behind y'all. We were all going to the same house, the same place. He was like, I'll be right behind y'all. Y'all go ahead without me. I'll see y'all, like, I'm literally going to be right behind y'all, whatever. So, Wyatt and all them left because they were like, okay, he's just going to go with Katie, whatever. Well, then everybody got back in and we were all at Ava's house and Wyatt was like, where's Nolan? He was like, isn't he coming with Katie and them? And they were like, yeah. And Warren was like, let me call him and ask where he is. Or Warren was like, I have his phone. Like, somebody called Katie and asked where he is. And then they called Katie.
They don't even know this.
And that's when they found out that that Nolan never went with her either. She said that Nolan never went with her. And so no one knows what happened. Like, literally no one knows what happened to him, and it's so fucking heartbreaking.
Girl.
It's sick that people are sitting there blaming that on Eric and all them, like his childhood best friends. Like, it's sick. And none of them would ever do that to him. And like, people are literally texting me, like threatening me and shit. It's like, bro, I don't know, it's just so upsetting.
It's just so upsetting. Shut up.
Interesting, right? Yeah. And of course, you're hearing people putting in their commentary, right, throughout the thing and, throughout the recording. But it does make you wonder, where the hell did this come from? Right? Where the hell did this audio come from? Is this real? And also, could this person just be fabricating a story? Which doesn't make any sense because, again, like what this content creator said, they said that nobody knew the girl. Trayston said nobody knew Katie. But then we're hearing that Warren told people to call Katie, which means they did know her. So somebody had her phone number to call her, which makes no sense as well. But then you hear the commentary, people are like, yeah, right, okay. Oh, God. You know what I mean? Because they don't believe the story. Welcome to the situation that we're in. What is going on here? Who's telling the truth? Who's lying? What's going on here? And of course they said, yeah, you know, she said he was going to go talk to Katie. So the guys left. They just left him. Like I said, the math is just not mathing at all to me, guys. It's just not. All right. It just is not making any sense. I believe what Katie said, that they walked off to talk, and then he said he was going back to the boat to ride with his boys. And then he was left, but of course he never made it there. He was left behind. And I'm sorry, even after all that, the thing that still irks my soul, not even about the part that they didn't come back to find him. Like, you know, after they realized that he was missing, they didn't bother to turn the boat around and go all the way back down there and just see if he was there. That part really irks my soul. But the fact that they just left him, they didn't double check, they didn't quadruple check to make sure he actually did have a ride with somebody else before they took off. They just took off. That's a massive difference, guys. No one asked, hey, no. Go and check on him right now. No, go. Can you just go and check on him real quick? Guys, we can't just leave him like that. Could we just go check and see and make sure he really does have a ride before we leave? Because that's what friends do. That's what people do. That's what logical individuals do. But what's interesting is you add liquor into it. Maybe they weren't thinking like that. They're just like, yeah, bro, let's keep on partying, bro. Yo, we're going to see you over there, bro. Back in the mainland, we're just going to party, bro. We're going to kick it, bro. We'll see you in a little bit, bro. And they just left and they didn't even think about it. Is it young and dumb and full of liquor? Or did something else happen here? But again, like I said, it seems strange to me that you did not, that the driver of the boat, whoever was like the DD, I would assume that they had a DD, did not turn to them and say, hey, no, you turn your ass right around, find him right now, and make sure he really does have that ride. If not, he has to come with us right now. That's it. End of story. No, I'd be up. Less lip, more moving. Go get it. Go get him. Go. Come back and let me know if it's confirmed or not. I'll be right here. Boat will be waiting. That's it. Takes 5-10 minutes maybe to do that. But they didn't do that. They just left. Yeah, the boat was sinking, so they had to leave. Okay, well, they could have used their red Solo cups and just started, while they're boating back home, start scooping out water. If that was the case, no soldier should have been left behind. Period. So that does not make any sense to me. But what say you guys? Does it make sense to you? Does it make all the world the sense of sense to you? Or is there something else going on here? What are your thoughts? We're keeping an eye on this. There's a lot to talk about. It just doesn't make any mother-loving sense. Okay? It's frustrating. All right? Hold on. Millichin? What? Who this? Who Millichin? Millie Chun. I don't know who that is. I mean, I'll Millie Chun. I don't know what the hell's that. Oh, Millie Chun. Millie Chun. I don't. Yeah, just seeing if there's any live stuff real quick before we wrap up the show. I don't see anything like that. Yeah. So I don't see anything, but yeah, people are People are doing AI of the parents. It's pretty insane. Hold on. Okay. I'm going to have to check that out another time for sure. I'll check that out when I get a little free time. But thank you so much for the heads up on that. All right. But I'm going to wrap up the show. I'll be back on in a few hours. We got a lot to talk about. All right. We got a few things we got to rap about and everything. So we will be talking here very, very soon. There's a lot of stuff going on with the Ohio House of Horrors. We have got to talk about that as well. But if there's any updates within the Nolan Wells case, I may be back on with that, leading with that, and then, throwing in the 16 kids found in this house of horrors as part of the show. So that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. Really means a lot. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of the conversation. Please do me a favor before we head out. Hit that like button down below. Crush it. Do what it do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick. I'm on all of them, so make sure you hit that follow button because there's a lot of updates within this case and a multitude of other cases that we are covering. And I'm giving you guys updates before we even go live sometimes over there. Okay? Hasta luego, señor cabrón. Señor T. Thank you so much for being here, man. Appreciate you, bro. But again, hit that like button down below. Hit that reaction button. Don't forget to subscribe right here on my YouTube channel, please and thank you. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Subscribe over there as well. Subscribe. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon, which is right there, going across the screen right now as we speak. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there, so go check it out. PascalMerch.com. Anyway, it's time to get going. I'll be seeing you guys very soon. Much love to you guys. Be safe out there, and we'll be talking here very soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.